All right, boom. We are live. What is up, you guys? It's your boy, Alex Tyler Meyers, and this is the official first episode of the ATM podcast. I appreciate you guys checking it out, coming here and having a little convo with me. So just a little rundown of what the podcast is going to be like. We'll have some segments. Probably the most interesting one for most of you will be the current events. So, YouTube drama, influencer drama, celebrity drama, all that good stuff. And then let's see, we have combat sports, so MMA, boxing, life updates. Then we have, we got film and television, all that good stuff. And then just my personal stuff. For those of you that are interested in my life, I have some stuff going on. I got a 1-year-old boy, just turned 1 this Christmas, 2020. We got a lot of you guys are going to be following this from the Pleasant High fandom, if you will. And we appreciate you guys not only for checking out this podcast, but for all of your love and support for the show. It's been a long road. Been a really long road. So, and I tell everybody all the time, the big bummer about it is that the only reason we haven't started shooting already is because of money. Unfortunately, this stuff is extremely expensive. A lot of people don't understand all the stuff that you have to pay for when you're making like a film or in this case, a series. But if you want an idea, a good experiment might be to go watch a movie and then just point out everything that you think that they had to pay for, because it adds up. It adds up a lot. There's locations. For us, we need a school. And thanks to COVID, of course, that's not easy to do right now, and rightfully so. But and there's props, there's everything, But yeah, we'll get into that some other time. I don't want to speak too much on that just yet. There has been some updates, but I don't want to jinx it. I will say that if all goes to plan, hopefully we will start shooting Pleasant High this summer 2021. So, fingers crossed for that. But, give me just a second, guys. Sorry, it's getting a little warm in here. This is my garage / gym / boxing club / film studio, now / podcast studio. So yeah. Oh gosh, give me just a second, guys. Sorry. Very unprofessional of me. I apologize. All right, so let's get into the first segment. I guess that will be the life update. Your boy just turned 26 this Saturday. I am filming this podcast on Monday. I lied. Sorry. I feel dumb. I turned 26 yesterday. We celebrated my birthday on Saturday. We went to the Titanic Museum. For those of you video watchers, got this nice little jacket that my mom got me for my birthday present. So it's really nice. Sorry, guys. There we go. Feels much better. But yeah, we went to the Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri, and that was a blast. For those who don't know, I'm like a huge Titanic freak. Not only just because of the movie, but the whole story, the whole tragedy, all that stuff. Very interesting to me. But yeah, if you get a chance, if you're ever in the area, the Branson, Missouri area, definitely go check out the Titanic Museum. It's really cool. But yeah, your boy just turned 26, getting up there. And I guess I have a little birthday resolution, if you will. I am cutting out soda. Not completely. Probably drink one every now and then, but... And it's not even like a health thing. It is, I think soda, to be completely honest and not to be too dramatic about it, I think soda is the only thing I've ever been addicted to. I tried smoking cigarettes when I was a little kid. Thankfully, I did not get addicted to that, because now I can't even stand being around cigarettes. Definitely not for me. Never been a weed smoker or drug user. Drink every now and then, socially, more than not. I just don't want to be the weird guy in the corner of the bar not doing anything. So yeah, my favorite drink, if you are wondering, is Fireball. Probably get some shit for that. A lot of people think it's nasty. A lot of people think it's girly, but I like it. It goes down pretty easy. I think like we had Jameson the other night, and oh, man, that stuff's like drinking rubbing alcohol. I don't know how people do it. Same thing with Crown. The peach Crown ain't too bad, but like apple or just regular Crown, don't know how you take shots to that stuff by itself. You guys are better than me apparently if you drink Crown. But anyways, enough of that. What else we got? What else we got? Just the podcast. This is the biggest thing. I've been really looking forward to this. I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a long time now, just because I genuinely talk to myself a lot. And with all this stuff, with all the areas of the podcast, like I mentioned, the segments, they're sort of all over the place. And, you know, maybe I have some friends that want to talk about film stuff, and then I have some friends that want to talk about MMA stuff, but it's not always possible to have those conversations. So hopefully this is a good way for me to do that. This weekend for my birthday fights, we had, the day before my birthday, we had UFC 259. Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz. And although the fights weren't as much as I thought they would be, there was a lot of aspects that made it like way more exciting than most UFC events. One being a disqualification, but we'll get into that here soon. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No. All right. Fuck it. Let's get into the MMA world, shall we? MMA boxing. So UFC 259, Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz. We also had on the co-main event, it was Amanda Nunes, which we will definitely talk about that, versus Megan Anderson, I believe her name was. I apologize if let me just fact check this stuff real quick before I just start throwing out names. UFC 259. And I will be honest, I missed most of the prelims, but Dominic Cruz won. Geeked about that. Super geeked about that. I love Dominic Cruz. I think he genuinely is one of the greatest of all time. You are welcome to make that argument with me, but you're not going to change my mind. You know, someone with that crazy, like, unorthodox style, the way he gets off the center line is very, very, very impressive. Sorry. I'm out in the garage. My garage is pretty far from my house, so if I'm connected to Wi-Fi, the internet's crap. So give me just a second. I apologize. Let's see if I can find the card here. See, now if I wasn't looking for it, it'd be right here. That's crazy. Yeah, it was. I was right, though. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. We'll just start. And then before that fight was also Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, and we'll start there because this was rough. There was no winner, no real winner in this fight, you know. Like I said, it was a disqualification, a legal knee, a knee to a downed opponent. And let me just say that although Petr Yan is a UFC champion, he should probably know the rules of when and when not to throw a knee. But keep in mind, he was a strictly just a boxer. That's why he always has his hands up like that. He comes from the world of traditional boxing. So there's so many things to unpack here. Let me just say that Aljamain Sterling probably won the first round, but then Petr Yan, I think the fight was called a disqualification in the fourth round. I don't want to get too caught up on all the details. If you guys need to look that stuff up, you absolutely can, and feel free to correct me. But I believe it went to the fourth round, and Petr Yan was basically, you know, aside from the first round, was whooping his ass the whole fight. Aljamain Sterling, he came out strong that first round. He was throwing a lot. He was landing a lot. But that man had his foot, had the pedal not even to the floor. He had it on the ground, and he was Flintstoning it because his gas tank ran out so quick. And that was the cool thing about Petr Yan. He wasn't necessarily throwing all that crazy, but that's why he was able to last so long. You really got to think about that stuff. Even though these are small guys and their cardio should be top level, which I'm sure it is. Uh, you know, how long can you really sit there and go, pedal to the floor the entire time? So, anyways, it was super back and forth, really good fight, up into the DQ. So I guess we'll get into that. So like I said, Aljamain Sterling was definitely out of gas, and it got to a point where Aljamain he had one knee on the ground, and I remember Petr Yan sort of holding him. And the weird part about this, and the most controversial part, and what everyone's going to want to argue, is that Petr Yan's corner told him to throw the illegal knee. If you watch the fight, you can see Petr Yan look at his corner and sort of ask them if he should throw the knee or throw a kick. And the story that I've been hearing is that they said yes, to throw the knee or kick. It ended up being a knee, so we'll just call it a knee. Sorry. But what I think is that there had to be some sort of miscommunication somewhere, some sort of confusion, because either he has a really crappy team that just doesn't know the rules of MMA, which I guess is possible if he comes from boxing, but still, I don't see any professional team telling their fighter to throw an illegal knee to a downed opponent. I just don't see it happening. I think he looked at them asking if he should throw the knee, and this is completely just me. This is my theory. This could be completely off, but I'm thinking that they were saying yes. I think they were saying yes, he's down. Do not throw a knee or a kick. I hope that makes sense. I hope he was looking at them asking if he should throw a knee, and they were answering him saying yes, he is down. If that makes sense. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just can't fathom a professional fighter's team telling him to throw a knee to a downed opponent when they can clearly see that he was down. He had one knee, and it wasn't even like, it's not even up for a debate. He was a downed opponent. Illegal shot. So yeah, unfortunately, Petr Yan lost his title. I believe this was his first defense, right? Because he had the interim bout with Jose Aldo. That's when he became champ, and then he would have this fight. It would have been his first defense, which sucks. He lost it to a DQ. Damn it. I'm a huge Petr Yan fan, by the way, and Aljamain Sterling fan as well. But Petr Yan was winning that fight, and then it all goes down the drain to an illegal knee. I guess the other argument would be whether to run it back or not. Usually in a case like this, I guess you would get an immediate rematch, but it was such a blatant foul, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it was intentional. There's a lot of different things. Maybe Petr Yan was confused on him being down or not. That's why he looked at his corner. I mean, it completely makes sense. Yeah, there's no real winners with this, man. I hope they run it back. Both of these guys deserve it. Aljamain Sterling definitely deserves it. He didn't want to win that way. He didn't want to get the belt off of a DQ. Most people wouldn't. That's like when John Jones fought Anthony Smith. John Jones accidentally threw an illegal kick. And it was completely accidental. It was definitely more, 50-50, if that makes sense. Like, I can definitely understand why John Jones would throw that kick, because maybe he didn't. It wasn't so obvious to him, just with like the angles and the way that Anthony Smith was, like, I guess, on the canvas. It just made more sense. I don't know really how to explain it, but it made more sense why John Jones would throw that kick, definitely when you compare it to Petr Yan throwing the illegal knee. But I remember them asking Anthony Smith if he wanted to continue fighting, and of course he was like, yeah. And Aljamain Sterling did the same thing. He was like, I don't want to win the title for disqualification. That's that fighter mentality. You definitely don't want to be given something. I mean, It just kind of sucks, man. Like I said, there's no real winners with that fight. I really hope they run it back. I will. I'm gonna call Aljamain Sterling out on this. Obviously, I don't want that smoke. You know, don't come for me. I do not need my ass whipped. But I do have to call him out. He's already talking about fighting Henry Cejudo, which Henry Cejudo's retired still, isn't he? He had a really strong retirement. I mean, I remember the press conference when he retired. He was like, it was the first time I'd ever seen him be like real humble. So I figured his retirement was legit. But Aljamain Sterling's talking about fighting him. They've been going back and forth on Twitter. I don't want. I'd like to see that fight if Aljamain Sterling keeps the title in a rematch for Petr Yan. I just think the rematch makes the most sense. Why not? Why not give these guys both the real chance to see who wins the belt? Because like I said, Petr Yan was winning. It's just crappy, man. It just sucks. I don't know. I hope they run it back. But regardless, Aljamain Sterling is the champ right now at 135 at bantamweight. I'll give him some credit. I mean, it's not like he asked to be kneed in the head while he was down. But yeah, where do you go from that? I guess we'll wait for some updates on that one. So the co-main event, let's get into it. We'll probably talk about the co-main event more than it actually lasted because, I mean, fuck, what else can you say about Amanda Nunes, man? She's just a GOAT. She is just the GOAT. There's no one for her. Definitely not at 145. I can see 135, a third fight against Valentina Shevchenko, since both of those fights went to the distance and Amanda Nunes got the nod. I think Valentina Shevchenko definitely deserves the third fight. Maybe maybe there's a different outcome. But it would be different if, like, say, for example, John Jones versus DC wins the decision, then wins the knockout. I could have that the placement mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it was decision then knockout. But it could be knockout then decision. But it doesn't matter. But like, if you ask me, since John Jones got the knockout, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, I'd love to see it. John Jones versus DC3. That would be insane, but it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Whereas Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko makes sense because it went the distance both times. No one got knocked out. No one got tapped out. It was a decision, And especially with the judges, you have to take decisions with a grain of salt, unfortunately. I wish we had, like, real fighters and people that cared about the sport. I remember there was one time there was like a judge playing on his phone during a fight. Like, come on, man. You got one job. And their jobs, like, think about the referees. The referees, they have tough jobs. Judges really, I mean, I want to say that all you have to do is know the sport, but at this point, do you have to know the sport to be a fucking judge for the UFC? Honestly don't think you do. I mean, I think a lot of people just base it on who got, I don't know. I don't know what these judges think. I believe they're like commission judges, right? I could be completely wrong about that, but I believe they're USADA. They're hired through USADA. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the third fight at bantamweight with Valentina Shevchenko and Amanda Nunes makes the most sense because there's no one left for Amanda Nunes. Definitely not at 145. She made short work of that girl, Megan Anderson. I mean, credit to Megan for getting in there with the greatest of all time. Amanda Nunes hits like what looks like a fucking train. God. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. It was a submission. I mean, Amanda Nunes hit Megan Anderson really well. Very strong punches. But yeah, I don't know. I digress. Let's do Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes at 135. And then if she wins that fight, I think she can hang it up for both weight classes, for 145 and 135. Retires the GOAT at the top. What else can you say, really? She's the best, Amanda Nunes, I am your simp.
God, you're so beautiful.
all right, Vin Diesel. Yeah, she's a cute girl, whatever. But she's also extremely talented at fighting.
Talk to me, baby.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to you, Vin Diesel. I'm talking to you, and I get it.
Wow, man.
Yeah, she's great. Sorry, guys, I'm fucking around with the sound bites. You guys are gonna get used to these sound bites. I got a lot. Some of my personal favorites are Lil Xan when he got confronted and pulled a gun on somebody. I'm not gonna get into. We still got the main event, so I apologize. But just here's Lil Xan for you.
Get the fuck out! Get out!
Get out! Oh, that's nuts. Okay, main event. Jan Blachowicz and Israel Adesanya. I almost said Anderson Silva. I'm not far off, but anyways, not a horrible fight, but I'll be completely honest, guys. I was expecting more. I was expecting more from. I would have to say I'm expecting more. I was expecting more from Israel Adesanya. To be completely honest, he landed some good shots in there. It definitely wasn't Yoel Romero versus Israel Adesanya. It was way more eventful than that. But what are you gonna do? Jan Blachowicz is a big dude. You can't get too close. He's got that one-hit Polish power. It puts you out. That man is crazy. I mean, I definitely was leaning more toward Israel Adesanya, and I'd have to say I'm more of a fan of Israel Adesanya than Jan Blachowicz, but Jan Blachowicz is a monster, man, and he's had such a great, I guess, comeback story. He was on something like a 4-fight losing streak and was about to get cut from the company, I do believe. I could be wrong. But then he just came back and started knocking fools out. I'm going to see if I can get them in order. It was, I believe it was Luke Rockhold, insane knockout. Corey Anderson, I believe. Give me just 1 second. Let me. I'm just throwing out names, and I could be completely wrong. So let me just fact check this real quick. Jan Blachowicz, probably am not going to spell that right. Can you blame me though? Come on, give me a break. All right, so let's see where we got. What we got? Great, yeah, Corey Anderson. Okay. All right, so he knocked out Luke Rockhold. Like I said, insane knockout. Then he won a decision versus Ronaldo Souza. I definitely looked over that, so I apologize. Knocked out Corey Anderson, then knocked out Dominic Reyes, giving Dominic Reyes his first real loss. Because, come on, let's be real. He beat John Jones. Fight me on that one. But yeah, he's had a really good comeback story, man. He's super, super good. He's such a beast, man. And regardless, you got to give Israel Adesanya some credit for even going up to 205 because he's definitely more comfortable at 185. You can see, and I don't know. I don't know. I expected the weight to be a little bit closer. Apparently, I guess Israel Adesanya just doesn't cut that much. Because he fights at 185, which is more than I walk around at. And went up to 205, and he weighed in at 200.5 pounds. So yeah, I feel like the weight difference couldn't have made that much of a difference. Now that I think about it. But yeah, both of these guys were hesitant. They both knew what each other were capable of, and that's something that a lot of, I guess, casual fans. Sorry, not trying to offend anyone, but I guess the casual fans wouldn't really understand. You can't just get in there. Two people like this, you can't just get in there and go at it. I mean, you can. Kelvin Gastelum and Israel Adesanya showed us that, but with Izzy, there's the weight thing, and then with Jan Blachowicz, there's definitely the striking gap. I think it's safe to say, I don't think it's a shot at Jan Blachowicz to say that Israel Adesanya is definitely on another level of striking. All in all, not a horrible fight. I just was expecting a little bit more, I guess. But, beggars can't be choosers, and it definitely makes sense why neither of these guys will get in there and just, go at each other. But, like I said, way more eventful than fucking Yoel Romero versus Israel Adesanya, that's for sure. yeah, that's about it for UFC 259, man. I missed most of the prelim fights. I didn't get home till a little bit later. Like I said, we're in Branson, Missouri, 5 hour drive from where I'm at. So unfortunately, missed Dominic Cruz's fight. I think that would have been one of the best ones. I haven't really looked into it to see like the highlights or anything, but I would just like to see him fight again. I believe he lost his last fight, which sucks. Um, I don't know. Dominic Cruz he's awesome. I don't know. Where do I go with that? All right, so that's enough for MMA. What about boxing? I kind of hate talking about boxing anymore, man. To be completely honest, that's why I'm so much more. Even though I consider myself a boxer, I train in boxing, and that's most of my focus. I'm definitely more of an MMA fan as far as like watching the fights, because boxing doesn't give us the fights that we want. You know, when are we gonna get Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Probably when both of their nuts are touching the ground, which sucks. Because Tyson Fury, I like both of these guys. I think Tyson Fury will win uh, by decision. That's my prediction. He did knock out Deontay Wilder in the second fight, but I feel like, am I the only one that thinks Deontay Wilder is too small for heavyweight? Am I crazy for thinking that? Because I don't know. Maybe my head's just somewhere else, but Tyson Fury was like the bigger the bigger guy in the second fight, and came out and basically bullied Deontay Wilder, which we've never really seen before. And I don't mean bully in a bad way. He just, ran him down, giving them big ass hands. I don't know. And then there was all the stuff with Deontay Wilder. I don't want to get into that, all the excuses and everything. It's just ridiculous. And I'm definitely way late on that. That happened a while ago. But yeah, are we ever going to get Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua? I honestly don't think so. I shouldn't say that. Sorry. I take that back. We might get it. With boxing, it's like they take so long to give us any of these fights, man. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao should have happened at least 5 years before it did. I don't know. I definitely don't watch as much boxing as I do like UFC, but I don't know. I care about it. Canelo's over there whooping everyone. He's going through. I don't. It's crazy to think that Floyd Mayweather was his first loss. I don't know what would happen if they fought now. I really don't. Gosh, Canelo's just so much better than he was when they fought. I don't know. I still think Floyd Mayweather would win, but that's if they would do it right now. There's so many different aspects to all this stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. But I guess we'll see. I'm really looking forward, because in a more realistic way, we would definitely get Anthony Joshua versus Andrew Ruiz Jr. before Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. But I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I'm not super hyped on the third fight between them two. I'm just not super into it. Excuse me. Andrew Ruiz definitely threw it all away with that second fight. They said that man wasn't even training. He was supposed to start training, I think they said 2 months prior to when he started. He put on so much weight, and yeah, he just didn't take it seriously. There's no discipline. Whatever, first Mexican heavyweight champion. You're definitely gonna sit on that for a while. So I guess I don't blame him too much, but how much better of a legacy would it have been if he would have won the second fight and then went on to fight someone like Tyson Fury? Much bigger legacy that way. But what are you gonna do? It happened. He lost. I love that fight, by the way. The rematch. A great fight. Anthony Joshua definitely, made the adjustments that he needed to make. So hats off to him for that. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, fuck. Damn. Speaking of YouTube drama, we got Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, April 17th. It's hard for me to say that I'm excited for this fight. Jake Paul he's fought weak opponents. There, I said it. You know, he fought Deji, KSI's younger brother, which was probably the best fight he's been in so far. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should say that, but Deji, to give Jake some credit, Deji got Jake when he was at the very beginning of his boxing career. Give me just a second, guys. Sorry. All right, cool. I'm back up in this bitch. All right, so where was I at? Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Look, we all know that Jake Paul's opponents have not been anywhere near his level. Even Deji, even though they both started boxing when the fight was like agreed to. So I guess we can't take away from Jake really with that. But and then he had two fights after that. One with a Nissan Gib, which, let's be honest, Gib sucks. And then one with fucking Nate Robinson, a basketball player. Again, he sucks. That's not to say that they can't get good at boxing. But Nate Robinson wasn't even like sparring before that fight. Which how do you expect to get into the ring in a real fight on the undercard of Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. no less, and just expect to win against someone like Jake, who has been training for a while and he can box. He's not like a professional level in my opinion, but he can box. So yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that, but like, I feel like Jake takes a lot of credit for having these wins against people who shouldn't have even been in there with him in the first place. The only argument you can make is with Deji, because they both started training around the same time. And apparently Deji didn't take the shit seriously, which shows, because he, TKO. Fifth round though. He lasted to the fifth round. Gib was in the first round, and Nate Robinson was in the second, I do believe. So let's be real, I give Deji the most credit out of that. But anyways, let's get to the fight. Sorry. I digress. Ben Askren, the wrestler, versus Jake Paul, the boxer, in a boxing match. Let's be honest, I think Jake's gonna win. I hate to say it. The thing that pisses me off about this is that Jake's going around and pretending like he's fighting like a real boxer. He's like, oh, I saw a video of him where he's like, people can't say that I'm not fighting a real fighter. Okay, you're fighting a fighter, yes, but you're boxing. This is a boxing match, bruh. Ben Askren can't box. He just put out some sparring footage and some training footage recently. He looks like ass. I hope he's trolling. I hope he's better than he's like, I hope he's better than the stuff that he's putting out there. Let's put it like that. Because I would love for Ben Askren to win. Pretty much any time Jake Paul's in a fight, I'm most likely going to root against him. That's just me being a hater. Sorry. Genuinely, I just don't like him. Same thing with Logan. I'm not like I can't really say that, because I am a KSI fan. I'm not a fan of him as a boxer. I think people think that he's a lot better than he actually is, and you can see that in the first and second fight with Logan Paul. He looked good in the Joe Weller fight, but it's almost like he I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like he got worse throughout those fights with Logan. But yeah, point blank period, I don't think Ben Askren is going to win, unfortunately, and that just gives Jake Paul more of a reason to gloat and to make these stupid videos calling out real fighters. I wish someone, and this is completely hypothetical because Max Holloway is definitely way too small for Jake Paul. As far as weight classes go, I still think he'd win. But I wish someone who was like an elite level boxer, maybe Dustin Poirier. I don't know. Jake's pretty big. But like, think about Dustin Poirier in a boxing match with Jake Paul. Dustin Poirier would probably win. Same thing with Max Holloway. These are like the high level MMA fighters in terms of boxing, Even Connor. Fuck, dude. I don't think I want Jake Paul to get that clout, but I think it makes more sense than Ben Askren. Ben Askren's a wrestler, and I'm saying this and keep in mind that I want Ben Askren to win. I just don't think he's going to, unfortunately. So Jake Paul will probably get his fourth win and continue talking shit. He's not that good. I'm sorry. I hate to tell everybody, he's really not that good. He just looks good against the opponents that he has. But what are you going to do? I don't know. All right, guys, give me just a second. I'm going to take a break, and I will be right back with the ATM podcast. I appreciate you guys hanging in with me, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Thanks. All right, guys, before we get into the rest of the podcast, I just want to mention that this episode of the ATM podcast is brought to you by the wonderful people at Anchor. This wonderful website / app allows you to create a podcast basically, at the snap of a finger. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or computer, which is incredible. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. So whatever platform you're listening to this on, you can bet it was most likely because of Anchor, because they are awesome. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, which is incredible, despite how big your audience is. For example, this is the first episode. Probably not huge, but you can still monetize the podcast, which is incredible. It's everything you need to make a podcast in just one place. So thank you very much, Anchor. All right, guys, welcome back to the ATM podcast. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Now that we got MMA and boxing out of the way, I guess we can just quickly go through the wonderful world of film, because due to the coronavirus pandemic, not a whole lot of films are coming out right now. It's just a sad truth. The one thing that I will speak on just briefly is the new Captain America movie. I don't remember what it's called. I know it's on Disney Plus, and it has Falcon and Bucky. Give me just a second. I will look that up real quick, because I definitely want to check this out. I'm not like a huge superhero comic book fan, but I do like Captain America, and I do like the Avengers movie, so I would definitely be checking that out. Give me just a second. New Captain America. New Captain America. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Doesn't look horrible. I will be completely honest. I'm more of a Chris Evans fan. Just being honest. I definitely look more. I look forward to Captain America more with Chris Evans. I guess I'm just biased, but it doesn't look horrible. I saw the trailer for it while I was watching the fights, actually, and it's also going to be streaming on Disney Plus, March 19th, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Double check before you take my word on that. But yeah, it doesn't look bad. I'll definitely be checking that out. So that's it for film. That's the film segment. Unfortunately, not a whole lot to talk about. So let's get into current events. Definitely plenty to talk about today. We will stick to two big stories, and I'm just going to warn you, we'll end the podcast on a better note, but these two stories are definitely a little bit darker. We have David Dobrik tricking his friend into being sexually assaulted by Jason Nash. Sorry, I laugh. It's not funny. It's just, it's just the insanity of getting one of your friends sexually assaulted for a prank, a YouTube prank. It's ridiculous. We also have Chris D'Elia. So yeah, let's get into David Dobrik. There's a lot to unpack here, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of stuff with this one. For those of you who don't know, just a little. Definitely do your research before you take my word on it. But just a little, recap. There was this guy Seth in the Vlog Squad, and please keep in mind that I'm not a David Dobrik fan. Never have been. I put him up there with like Logan and Jake Paul. He just annoys me, to be completely honest. So, but to each his own. I don't know. I don't fault people if they are fans of David Dobrik. It's just not for me. So I guess there was this guy named Seth on the Vlog Squad, and David Dobrik tricked him into making out with Jason Nash, creepy old Jason Nash, twice. And some people, I'd imagine, think that it's a little overboard or dramatic to say that this was sexual assault. I I personally don't believe that. I think this was sexual assault, and but it's not one of those things that's like unforgivable. The thing that's really pissing people off is that David Dobrik is refusing to talk about it, and recently he, from what it seems like, forced his friend Scotty Sire, I think his name is, to speak on his behalf. And if you watch the video, I'm not going to go through that whole video, but if you watch the video, you can definitely tell that David Dobrik was giving him the stuff to say. And every argument that the Scotty Sire guy makes is ridiculous. It's stupid. There's no weight to it. I don't understand why David Dobrik won't just apologize. Like, go public, say he's sorry. You know, it's a prank. It's not like he genuinely, like, I don't know. I don't think Jason Nash, like, wanted to sexually assault this Seth guy. And by the way, this I don't know anything about the Vlog Squad. All these guys were in the Vlog Squad. So I apologize if it seems like disrespectful that I'm just saying this Seth guy. But he was on the H Street podcast, and he seems like a pretty decent guy who got the shit end of the stick a lot when he was with David, which doesn't surprise me. There's no weight to that. That's just my statement. It doesn't surprise me. It's weird to me why he won't just go public and just say sorry. Sorry can go a long way for people. You can tell that Seth is sort of like guilt-ridden maybe by this. And yeah, like I said, just an apology would probably mean a lot to him. I don't understand why David won't just do that. Maybe he just doesn't want to bring it up and talk about it because he thinks that it's gonna like make things worse or make his fans turn on him. I don't know. It's all weird. But yeah, I mean, you know, making someone make out with another man, or anyone for that matter, without them knowing, because it would have been, I don't know. It's sort of, you guys need to definitely do the research and make up your decision. But for me, the way it went down is he basically told Seth that Corinna was going to be in this old man mask, and then Jason got in the mask instead and made out with Seth. So Seth thought he was making out with Corinna. From what I know, Seth is a heterosexual man. Yeah, so he consented to that. He did not consent to making out with another grown man. Point blank period. It's just weird, and it's just wrong. But what it all comes down to is David and Jason. Sorry, I've been saying David the whole time because he's like I guess he's the biggest one. Who's like the mastermind of like these videos. So David and Jason should both just apologize. And they made a podcast after all this stuff, after both of the kissing pranks. That was very telling, that they didn't think it was such a big deal, and that they were like proud of it. It's just really weird and gross, but you know, that's all I really have to say about it. I hope Seth isn't like beating himself up over it. You know, what can you do? You were a victim of you were a victim of a prank, but in all reality, you were a victim of sexual assault, and I hope you conquer it and don't let it eat you up or anything. And yeah, David Dobrik, Jason Nash, apologize to this man. That's it. So moving on, Chris D'Elia. About a year ago was canceled for supposedly sexual misconduct with minors, I believe it would be called. He was texting girls that were underage, talking very sexually. He never, at the time, when this first happened, there was no evidence that he ever did anything sexual with anyone underage, which I think people sort of gave him a pass for. And I'm a huge Chris D'Elia fan, so I'll be honest, I sort of gave him a pass. You know, it was more like the big thing to keep in mind here is that when he found out that they were underage, a lot of times he like called it off, which I think is something that definitely needs to be considered. But with these new very unfortunate updates, it looks like one of his alleged victims is going to be suing him for not only sexual activity with a 17-year-old, a minor, but also, I guess, possessing pornography, child pornography of her. Give me just a second. Let me look into that, because I remember reading the headlines and I didn't look too much into it. That's my mistake. I didn't have a whole lot of time. I had some technical issues when setting up this first episode of the podcast, so I apologize. But yeah, let me just look this up real quick. I remember something about possessing child pornography, which, by the way, is disgusting. There is no excuse for it. If this comes out, this is if this is like guilty, if he's guilty for possessing child pornography of someone that's under the age of 18, that is disgusting, and definitely do not support that. So this headline, that's from TMZ. We'll skip that one. Okay, this one's from Deadline. Crystalia accused of soliciting child pornography from 17-year-old girl in new lawsuit. Okay, so yeah. And then the TMZ one says that the 17-year-old claimed that he had sex with her while she was underage. Yeah. Crystalia sued. "You stole my virginity at 17 and called it hot." Comedian denies allegations. Of course he did. The comedian is being sued by a Jane Doe for allegedly violating federal child sexual exploitation and child pornography laws. She is not suing because the two allegedly had sex when they met in Connecticut. The age of consent in Connecticut is 16. Okay, well, I mean, that doesn't make it better, in my opinion. I apologize if that okay sort of signaled that I was like, throwing it away or brushing it off, because although 17 is legal in Connecticut because the age of consent is 16. Yeah, I don't know about that. Still doesn't. I don't know. That still doesn't seem right to me. I mean, he's an older guy. What doesn't make sense to me about this is, why not just have sexual relationships with someone who's over the age of 18? Like what? It's never made sense to me. It's weird. Yeah, I feel horrible for any victims of sexual assault or statutory rape or anything like that. But this story is a little bit different, I guess, because she was 17 in a state where the age of consent is 16, but the child pornography thing still isn't cool, regardless of the age of consent, as far as the actual sexual activity goes. So let me just read a little bit more into this, because I definitely did not. I'll just be honest with you guys. I didn't do any research into this. I mainly thought about talking about the past allegations with Crystalia, because he posted an apology video called "It's Been a While" to his YouTube channel, and that was the main thing that I was going to talk about. But I actually just came across these headlines today. These stories now, new allegations coming out. Let me just see if this says anything. The woman claims Crystalia demanded eye contact when they had sex. Okay, I did not want to read that. That's not what I was going for. I apologize. Not reading the rest of that. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I definitely should have read through this before I started talking about it, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Okay. In the docs obtained by TMZ, Chris' alleged victim claims she started communicating with him over social media in 2014 when she was just 17, and he quickly started demanding nudes. She says 2 months later, he invited her to his hotel room before one of his shows where they had sex. So this is a little bit confusing. She was over the age of consent in Connecticut, which was 16. She was 17. And she sent him nudes while she was 17. So technically, please correct me if I'm wrong, but she was still over the age of consent in Connecticut, right? So, I mean, is that I don't know. I don't want to try to like justify this on behalf of Crystalia, or try to like shut down his victims' allegations, but I don't know. I don't know. Anywhere that I go, the age of consent is 18. That's an adult. So that's just how I'm thinking of it. The specifics for each state would not matter to me. So I don't know. I guess it just depends on how you look at it. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll wait to see what else comes out about it. But regardless, that's just not cool, man. Not cool at all. So yeah, let's move on to something more light-toned, I guess. Happy. What else is there? What else can we talk about? I mean, that's really it. As far as like skateboarding world goes, I recently saw a film from Devontae Jolly on YouTube called Godspeed. If you're a skateboarder, definitely check that out. Please check that out. It is so good. I don't know how I ever thought that I could be a professional skateboarder, but watching these kids skate was insane. I never would have ever gotten to that level. Just being honest. And definitely now I'm way too lazy to even try to get to that level of skateboarding, because these kids are just ridiculous. They're young guys and they're just killing it. Godspeed on YouTube, filmed by Devontae Jolly. Definitely check it out. I'm trying to think, what else did I recently... I recently posted a short film of my own, my very first short film. It was more like a teaser, but it's called He's Back. It is a teaser for Pleasant High, starring Hannah Holmes, Ricardo Thurman, and Jake Dunaway. Cinematography, directing, writing by your boy here, yours truly. So please go check that out. That is on the ATM Productions YouTube channel. Not bad for my first go. I know the highlight for me was definitely editing. I really like editing. I'm not going to get too much into that. Gosh, what else can we talk about, man? I'm having fun here, but I don't really want to end this. What else do we got? Pleasant High. I can't say too much about Pleasant High because I don't want it to come back and bite me on the butt. We had some updates, but it's a little too soon to be announcing anything. The general statement to make here is that we are looking to start shooting in July 2021. Originally, just a little fun fact, it was supposed to just be the first episode. Since we did not get all the funding that we needed, I was just going to put down my own money, shoot the first episode, and then see if we could do anything like sign with a company, a production company or something of that nature. But then I started thinking, and if I'm going to spend all that money on one episode, I might as well try to find a way to make the entire show. And well, fuck it, I'll just say it now. I want to give a ginormous thank you to the cast and crew of Pleasant High, the family that we built over time, the people that are helping me bring this dream of mine that I've been writing since 2018, before I even met my current girlfriend, to life. I'll just let you guys know that I reached out to everyone and requested that they all maybe not sign away their checks, but I begged them to work for free just until we can start making the money back. Because here's the way to look at it: is I'm putting my money into shooting the entire first season, right? So it's a big chunk of money. We got a little bit of donations. We got some other people that want to invest in it, but for the most part, this is all my personal, coming out of my pocket. And unfortunately, there was not enough to accommodate all of the cast and crew for their hard work, which is something that I really wanted to do from the beginning. I thought we'd be able to come up with a way to raise the funds that we needed for production and to also pay the cast and crew. But unfortunately, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, the only thing holding us back was money, which sucks. But thankfully, I'm surrounded by incredible people, and I just want to take this opportunity now on the very first episode of the ATM podcast to give a ginormous thank you to you guys, all of the cast and crew. You guys are taking a real risk with me, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully something will come of it. Hopefully after the first season, we'll find a way to get it picked up, and you guys will definitely be accommodated for all of your hard work. For those of you that I don't think the entire cast and crew are gonna listen to this podcast right away, but if you are listening, I appreciate you very, 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 very much. I love you all, and I can't wait to start shooting this summer as long as everything goes to plan. So keep your fingers crossed for us. And again, you guys need to know how incredible this cast and crew is and how selfless they are. And I will forever be in their debt without getting too corny. Dang it. Again, I wanted to keep this in a lighter, more happy mood, but these are happy thoughts. On that note, I think it's time that we end the first episode of the ATM podcast, but I do appreciate you guys checking it out. It went pretty well for my first go. It'll get better over time. I got some really awesome guests that I'd like to have on. None of them know yet, but I have some really talented friends that are much more talented than myself, if we're being completely honest, in my opinion, at least. So yeah, look forward to that. This podcast will be a weekly podcast, so I hope to see you all next week. And yeah, let me know how you like the podcast, and keep letting us know your excitement for the upcoming series Pleasant High. We're really excited to start shooting, and yeah, that's it. I will talk to you guys next week. Peace.